Good day, you wonderful people. So, this is another day and another math question. Well, in this case, I'm going to go through two questions. I'm going to show you a great way to factor a trinomial super easily and making it the simplest way that you can factor the hard trinomials. Now, here's the first question. Now, as you remember, a regular trinomial that looks like x squared plus 5x plus 6, this trinomial is very easy to factor because all you need to do, you find two numbers, you multiply, you get 6, right? And then this multiplication of two numbers, and then the same two numbers, when you add them, you should get 5. Well, that's too easy. Just 3 and 2, and then that basically it. You'll get that based on the positive and positive value. But then when you get a trinomial that has got a leading coefficient is not 1. So here, the first thing you notice that the leading coefficient here is 1. You see that? But the leading coefficient here is 9. So you can't use this technique anymore. So you have to go through this trial and error. Chinese method is one of those things that I explained in another video, which I'm going to link it here now in about next few seconds. You can see that, but there's even easier way. So here's the trick that you can do. First, you multiply 9 by negative 10. So that's all you're going to do. And then you're going to rewrite this as if there is no 9 in front. So that becomes x squared minus x minus 90. Okay? Simple as that. That's the first step. Now, you're just going to employ the same technique as you knew before. Two numbers, you multiply, you get 90 minus 90, right? So two numbers, you multiply them, you get minus 90. The same two numbers, you add them, you should get negative 1. Well, 9 and 10, that makes sense, right? Because that's pretty close. 9 and 10 gives you 1 or negative 1. So we can easily do that. So let's go ahead and factor. So this becomes, now if you want to do the Chinese method, you can do it this way. You can do 9 and 10, and then we want to have a negative 1 in front. That means 10 has to be negative, and sure enough, you put them in a bracket like that, and sure enough, you're getting x squared minus x, and then 9 times 10 is minus 90. And remember, minus crossing, multiplying on a diagonal, right? Same thing. So you get minus 10x here. You get plus 9x there. And then when you do the addition, you're going to get a negative x, which is right there. All right, now we're going to rewrite it now. We're going to rewrite this as the two factors. So this is what we're going to do. X plus 9, x minus 10. Now, what we need to do now, because we went ahead and multiplied everything by 9, remember originally we multiplied 9 by 10? Well, now we're going to go back and then do the division, okay? That's what we're going to do. We're going to divide the number part by 9. By 9, you're going to simplify this. Now, two ways to do this. Now you could just simplify and let's see what you get. And in this case, you don't get a fraction. That's good. But this one, minus 10 over 9, that's ugly. All right. So what you would do, you multiply x by that, and that becomes 9x minus 10. Okay. And by the way, these two, this and this, they are the same value. Both expressions are identical. You test that. You make sure that it works. So multiply through, you get 9x squared minus 10x plus 9x minus 10. Simplify, 9x squared minus x minus 10. Now, does this look like what we had? Sure it is. Look at that. Okay. Now, it looked like a long-winded kind of a solution, but the more practice that you have, the faster you will do it. And it will become much easier because you are very good at factoring regular polynomials or trinomials with a leading coefficient of 1. You're very good at that. And based on and years of experience with my students, I know you are. So this is easy to grasp, so you just employ that if you want to. Now, if you still want to do a freestyle or the Chinese method right from the beginning or factor by grouping, you go ahead, do that too. Fantastic, right? This is just another way, but it's the easy way to do this, and it's just systematic. You're always going to get it right. Let's go on through another question. Here it is, 6x squared plus 19xy plus 10y squared. All right, let's do our magic. Here it is. So 6, let's change the color. 6 times 10. Now, when you do this, you are now going to remove the x, the 6 in front of the x. You're going to remove that, but you're going to write the rest, the middle term, but the last term, now 6 times 10, that was 60. So we're going to write 60y squared. Very good. Now we're going to go ahead and factor. Now you can factor this very quickly. Now two numbers you multiply, you get 60, you add, you get 19. Well, 4 and 15, right? 4 and 15 will do it. I mean, you can do 6 and 10, but 6 and 10, that gives you 16 or 4, but in this case, all is addition, so you just have to add. So 4 and 15. So 4 and 15, and we do have to have y for each of the terms. So here it is, 4y, 15y, that would give us 60y squared. And we have x in the middle and x in this first and second term, and you add them, and you will end up getting exactly the top trinomial. Now we have to go ahead and divide by the number that we multiplied. So we multiplied everything by 6. We have to divide everything by 6. What I mean by everything is a second term, right? Second term in each of the brackets, divide by 6. 15y divided by 6, x plus, this would be 2y over 3 when you take out the GCF on both, right? Common factors. This would be 5 over 2, and this is y, okay? And then the last step right here is that we don't want to have fractions, so we're going to multiply 3 by x and then 2 by x and then rewrite. So we'll get 3x plus 2y times 2x plus 5y. Close the bracket. All right, this is the final answer. Check. 3x times 2x, 6x squared. 3x times 5y plus 15y. And then you have the middle one, right? The middle term or second term, these two, that's plus 4xy, and then plus, I'm writing it in red, 10y squared. And then sure enough, you notice that this is equal to that. And that is, if you put them all together, you'll get 6x squared plus 19. Ooh, I made a mistake here. This should have been xy, 15xy. The middle term right here, that should have been, this should have been 15xy. So let me do that. Okay, so that's 19xy and then plus 10y squared. Done. All right, so this is a faster way to do factoring if your trinomial does not have a leading coefficient of 1. Okay, so here it is. That leading coefficient was 9 there. This one, the leading coefficient was 6. All right, so this could have been a little bit more uglier if you do it through factor by grouping, or you can do the Chinese method. Still, you have to go through and manipulate numbers. It can be pretty tough. So not impossible. That's great that you can do this, but this is actually the easiest way you can do this. All right. I hope you found this useful. All right. And if you like it, consider subscribing, hit the like button. Whenever I post a video, once you subscribe, you get notified right away. Leave a comment if there's a topic or a question that specifically you have. Leave it in a comment. When I read it, I'll do my best to tackle the problem that you have or go over a certain topic that you're struggling with. Have a fantastic day. Until next time, keep well.